Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly and maintenance video for you on this little guy. This is the Real Steel Knives Real Slim. Very weird knife. Okay, to start with, centering is barely a thing because this guy is just barely wider than the blade stock, but it seems to be very slightly favoring the lock side, although not to an extent that it's meaningful. Okay, this is not T10, this is T8 from the looks of it. Yeah, T8. Pop that loose. This is a very strange knife, but I kind of like that. It is very, very weird. In a way that I think is going to be productive. Okay, I feel like there were a bunch of these other little locator pins here, and so what I'm probably going to have to do to get this guy apart is to use a little spudger tool. If you're curious about this or any of the other tools I use during my disassemblies, go ahead and check out nickshabazz.com/tools. But anyways, I think I'm going to need to use this little spudger tool here to spread things open a little. Okay. So the big question here, my first question is, does this need to come out? Does this other clip screw need to come out? My initial thought is no, because it doesn't come all the way through, and there's not a whole lot of liner there for it to engage with. Maybe the screw is in the back spacer there. Okay, and these aren't screwed through. So I think it just does need to be popped loose, and it's on reasonably tight tolerances here. Maybe. Or maybe not. I'm going to try a little bit more here. Just kind of popping loose here. And see whether this does come apart. No. In the name of just making sure, I'll go ahead and I'll remove this back screw. I don't think I need to, but who knows? No, it looks like that's going straight into this liner. There is another screw hiding underneath there. Okay. Well, I'm glad I did that. You know, this is always, and I've said this many, many times before, but it's a good idea to, before you put a lot of force into something, think twice and ask, ooh, phosphor bronze. Think twice and ask yourself, hold on, is there another way? Could this be put together with precision and with details rather than with brute force? And so in that case, it was. As I was taking it apart, or as I was kind of putting a little torque on there, it was being resisted. And the thing that was resisting it was a hidden screw. God, that looked like the same thing on this pin here. All right. Well, like I said, this is one of the reasons I do these videos. It's one of the things I learned, right? Okay. Pop this guy loose. Very, very small pivot. Looks like phosphor bronze washer. No Teflon. Beautiful. It's nice. 2 washes. Sorry, that was a Count from Sesame Street reference. Okay, so we got 2 washes in this guy. On the, that would be on the show side. And then I suppose that means there's probably 2 washers on the lock side too. But who knows? Yes, okay, there are 2 washers on the lock side as well. So let's clean those off. And I'm using some rubbing alcohol here on this little sheet of paper. Helps with some degreasing. Beautiful. All right. Now I just wipe off this area here, and we're pretty much almost done. There ain't a whole lot to this knife. Because it is real slim, there's really not much to do. Okay, I'll wipe off the inside here. No problem. And is there anything else I got to do? No, not really. Okay, so next step here is actually going to be to do a little lubrication. Because this is running on phosphor bronze, I'm going to use knife pivot lube. I like the action on knife pivot lube just a little tiny bit more than nano oil on phosphor bronze, but there's that. Oh, interesting. We have ourselves a little Teflon washer here on the outside of the of the pivot here, which indicates to me that they need they needed a little bit more space. So I bet that this goes like this. How did this whole thing come apart? I'm trying to remember whether the pivot was... Yeah, this is not free spinning. There's a D shape on the bottom of it, so that needs to be aligned properly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rebuild it with the... How did I put this thing back together to start with? No, I went in from this side. Yeah, so okay, I'm I'm accurate here. So then on the show side, I put this guy in place. The nice thing about that is that then I'm putting everything in from one side, which is good. Okay, come on, get with the program here. Okay, and honestly, it shouldn't matter which side the pivot goes in from, but, you know, there we go. Next thing, I'm going to put down a little bit of lubrication where your washers are going to go. I'll put down a little lubricity, and then do a little tiny bit more here as I put these washers in place. Beautiful. In a perfect world, maybe the washers spin against themselves. And then I go ahead and, as I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of lubrication into the detent ball hole and onto the detent ball path. That should make this guy open a little smoother still. And rather than lubricating the pivot, which doesn't have much stick out, I'll just put some onto the inside of the pivot hole and do it that way. Now we are getting awfully close to ready to go here. Next step is going to be to put in the washers. And since I've got some lubrication here, I'll just drag some over there. Beautiful. Rotate. And actually some got onto the top of it because I am X on Shabazz. And so just rotate. Beautiful. And now we are roughly good to go. So next step here. I need to put this screw, this Chicago screw, post, whatever, in through the back there. Good. Next step is I put down this back spacer. Good. Next step is I put in this stop pin. Good. I'm just going to keep doing things and saying good. And you're going to watch it and ideally say good too. All right, so there is this. Now I need to tighten this down. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'm lifting the lock bar up just so everything can kind of go into its proper positioning. Okay, that's tightened down, good. Next up, I'll go ahead and I'll throw in the pivot, which is T8 as I recall, and which does not have a Teflon washer. So, no, I don't want to put knife pivot lube on the pivot. That would not be great. Which is kind of a contradiction, right? You would expect it, but not like this. All right, and tighten, tighten, tighten. Beautiful. Okay, that's a little loose still, but it's running smoother, which is nice. This bottom part fell out, so let's go on ahead and fix that. Let's put that there. Good. Now what I do is I put down the clip. And the clip has two screws. The bottom one is this. And this goes here. And tighten, tighten, tighten. Beautiful. And now I put this back screw in place. And assuming everything goes to plan, we are all done here. Okay, so that's tightened. Pivot is maybe a little over tight. Yeah, there's no play here. But yeah, the pivot is over tightened. So let's drop that back a little tiny bit here. Oh yeah. No play, vertical or horizontal. Centering is maybe very slightly favoring the lock side. Yeah. And the detent, I did lubricate. It's a strong detent, but yeah, this is running good now. All right, there you go. That was your disassembly and maintenance for you on this little guy, the Real Steel RealSlim. Hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.